Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to a special review for the brand new Stryper album, When We Were Kings. This one here being their 15th studio album from the Christian heavy metal band. It was just released on September 13th of 2024. We're going to get into it here in just a bit. I'll break it all down, do a full review and unboxing. But before we start, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like. All those things help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you'll never miss an episode and stay up to date on cool videos just like this. We're talking about the brand new Stryper album, When We Were Kings. All right, so I want to jump back and do a little bit of a history run through for you guys. The band itself was formed in 1983, actually originally under the name Rock's Regime. Of course, they would later change the name to Stryper, what we know them as today, and that was really to reflect more of their Christian beliefs. They signed to Enigma Records in 1983, releasing their debut EP, The Yellow and Black Attack, in 1984. But interestingly, it would be later re-released with a couple extra tracks, expanding it to a full-length album. And then between 85 and 1993, the band experienced commercial success for the first time with an overtly Christian metal band. And their 1985 debut album, Soldiers Under Command, was certified gold. And that would be followed up with their next album, To Hell with the Devil, that did even better, being certified platinum. And that was really an unheard, sort of rare thing with a Christian metal band to reach those heights. Today we have a little bit more of that, but back then, very, very new thing. And then in 1988, their album In God We Trust was also certified gold. And so to follow that up, the band attempted to go a little bit more mainstream with their next album, Against the Law, and they dropped or stripped away a bit of the metal sound, and they went with more straight ahead lyrics, sort of dropping the Christian overtones. But that one didn't fare as well. I think it was more to do with the time and the era than really anything else. But unfortunately, the band itself broke up in 1993. And they did do an initial reunion, played a few shows here or there beginning in 1999, some one-off performances. And then in 2003, they recorded a couple new tracks for a best of, but it wasn't until 2005 when they released their first new album in 15 years called Reborn. And since that time, the band has released 9 more studio albums, including the brand new one here that we want to talk about, When We Were Kings. So now that we're all caught up, we can dive into this album here. As I said, 15th studio album, 11 tracks on it, and it clocks in at 46 minutes. It's again produced by Michael Sweet, who's been doing a lot of the production for the band for a very long time. And, this is following up on their 2022 album that was titled as The Final Battle. And a lot of people thought it might actually be their final album. And with some of the health issues that were going on with Oz Fox and Michael Sweet, I'm glad to say that it is not their final album, and we did get this one here. So the band very much still continuing on and going on. But personally, for me at least, the last 4 albums didn't click with me very well. My interests just kind of sort of began to wane, it seemed like, after few albums back in the band itself. And so I didn't even really intend to pick this album up here. For example, lyrically on the album Fallen, that one just didn't click with me. Their next album, Goddamn Evil, was just way too metal, almost leaning in the death metal sound of some of the vocals on it, like the song Take It to the Cross. That one just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, wasn't to my liking. And so the next 2 releases after that didn't really inspire me all that much. And maybe it was mostly because of those 2 previous albums that had kind of left me not feeling very much inspired by the band itself. But all in all, I just sort of was a little bit tired of things with them. So with this release here, as I said, I really didn't intend on picking it up. In fact, if you watch my channel and you watch some of the previous videos that I talked about, some people had asked, and I said I wasn't planning on picking up this new album, When We Were Kings. But I chose to give it a listen, and I'm really glad that I did because it ended up just sitting right with me. It became that album that I had hoped that the band would make over the last 4 releases that just never really came to fruition, at least for me. So this album here is basically everything that I had hoped that it would be. It sits much more in the hard rock vein of things than the more overt metal sounds that some of their albums do. They had started to lean more towards a power metal sort of sound. And for me at least, while I like power metal, it was not really what I looked for with the band. I liked a more hard rock sound. It's got some very catchy standout choruses in here that again is something that I always liked about the band. Vocally, I think Michael is sounding better than ever on here. Probably just, the fact that he's not hitting the high notes like he used to, and that may well be due to the age, I would guess. But all in all, I think it works really well for the songs that are on this album. And so all in all, the songs that are here, I think have a much more unique and different feel than some of the past albums, which I thought began to sound kind of all the same. There just wasn't anything being explored new on those past releases for me. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't do it. This is just what my ears heard on it. Like I said, I was getting a bit tired of things, and I probably wasn't fully investing myself in them the way that I should have been. And what's kind of interesting is that with how much I've enjoying this one here, I did go back and give this album here another listen, and I plan to do it with the other ones, and hopefully I will be able to experience those in a new sort of light, the way that maybe I wasn't able to at the time. But all in all, this one here, clicking with me, being something that really enjoyed. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the standout songs that are on here. Track number 2, Unforgivable. This one here is just a good, straight ahead, mid-pace rocker, chugs along. I think Michael's vocals really carry this song, elevating it to a great track, making it much more than it is. Track number 2, the title track, When We Were Kings. This one here is another mid-pace rocker, but I think it really stands out and hits the mark, especially during the chorus on it. It's super catchy, resonates with me. The lead guitar, while very subtle on this one here, I think it's very good, and it too helps elevate this song above and beyond where it could have been. Then we got track 5, Love Symphony. This one here, while it suggests that it would be a ballad, is not really a ballad. It's a rocker, very powerful one at that, in my opinion. And again, it's Michael's vocals that are on this thing that really help the song shine. And track 9, Grateful. This one here is a slower rock number. It uses some acoustic instrumentation mixed in with the full electric band on here, but it is still a very powerful track, working, sort of even better with the lyrical content that's on it. I think the dichotomy between the acoustic instrumentation and the electric instrumentation on here really works together well. The chorus is very big sounding on it, striking a nice balance for me, and I really love the guitar work on this particular song. And then track 10, Divided by Design, just a great straight ahead hard rock song. It's big, it's powerful. It's like all the great Stryper songs rolled into one on it. And so that's at least where we end up on it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the album. So first off, the album art, very striking on here. I love the blue tones with the yellow behind it, the powerful punch that it is, and of course the classic logo Stryper there right across the top. Here we got the backside on it, track listing running through the middle horizontally. And there we go with the spine on it. Let's open this up and take a look. Whoops, so there we go, a cool shot of the band. We don't see the eye patch on Michael anymore. Hopefully it means he's gotten his eyes all squared away. There we go with the bass player formerly from Firehouse, Perry Richardson, who's been with the band for a while, but that's always been a cool key draw for me because I'm such a fan of Firehouse to see him in the lineup here. And I'll pop the disc out itself, and we get a very cool picture of the logo with the Kings, as it were, right there with it. Let's pull out the booklet and take a peek, because they've always done really good job with inside shots of the band. So there we go with Michael Sweet. And we continue on with other guys. So of course the lyrics are in here. Killer shot with the whole band there. There we go with another one. More lyrics here, wrapping it up at the end, and that shot. So for a lot of bands that aren't putting photos and things on the insides of their albums, glad to see that Stryper still doing it here, still making an effort. For me at least, if I'm gonna pick up the physical copy of the album itself, I want some photos of the band, and I wanna see the band together. And we got two cool shots of the band actually together, not just those individual shots where they're shot separately, you know, as though maybe recording separately and so forth. And we can do that today, but it's always nice to really see a band together. All right, so bottom line on this album, like I said, this one here really surprised me after not enjoying their last four albums, just, you know, for one reason or another. And it could a lot just be me, because I know a lot of you guys out there really enjoyed those last four albums. For me, at least, this one here has restored my faith in the band itself. It just provides all the key hallmarks of what makes Stryper Stryper. And this one here, certainly elevating beyond what I could have expected for the band itself. And like I said, it's gonna make me go back and re-examine the other albums. It already made me pull out the previous album, The Final Battle from 2022. I was listening to that one last night as I was preparing this review here and sort of wondering why it was that the album didn't click with me. But I think that is a powerful statement to this new album here, that it's so good that it has made me want to go back and re-explore past releases from the band. Any album that is that good, that says, I want some more, go back and take a look at these other releases, I think says wonders about the album that we're talking about here. And so all in all, do yourself a favor, go check out this album. You're probably already doing it if you're a fan, but if you're like me and maybe your interests have waned over the years, this is a great one to come back to. I think this one here certainly stands out head and shoulders over the last few releases, and is worth getting into again for the band. There you go. That is my review of the brand new Stryper album, When We Were Kings. Certainly let me know your thoughts on the album. And as I said, I'm quite sure a bunch of you guys loved the last few releases. I've certainly been hearing it in some of the other comments on other videos where I had previously talked about not picking this one up. But once I gave it a review, I was proven wrong. And I think that also in and of itself says a lot. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.